Hello everyone, this is your friend Mohammed from techlatest.net, where we provide latest trends in technology. If you want to be notified with all new products and videos and other updates, please subscribe to our mailing list at techlatest.net/subscribe. Or you can go to our website at techlatest.net, click on subscribe and provide your email ID. In addition to our email list, you can also follow us on our Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and GitHub accounts. Thanks a lot. Welcome to our third part of Ripple API's overview. In our first two parts, we talked about uh, the different ways to call the APIs and the different types of transactions. In this part, we are going to focus on the payment transaction type, and we are going to have a demo on the payment transaction. So what is a payment transaction? A payment transaction represents a transfer of value from one account to another. So this is in the simplest way the definition of a payment transaction. The demo which we are going to do, we are going to do these steps for the demo. First of all, we will create two new test accounts, and you know how to create those test accounts. Either we can go to the testnet on the Ripple website, create account over there. We have the JavaScript API to call through which we can create the account. We have the JSON RPC based API. We can create the account in whatever way we want. Then we are going to use JavaScript API get account info, and we'll see that the initial balance for the newly created account is 10,000 XRP, okay, by default. Then we are going to run our demo JavaScript file. In that demo file, then the amount will be transferred, X amount. We will specify how much we want to transfer. So we are going to transfer it from account 1 to account 2. The payment demo.js will perform the transaction, and it will give us details about the transaction along with the transaction hash. Then again we are going to invoke the get account info method to verify the updated balance on the two accounts. Okay, so let's say if we transfer 100 XRP from account 1 to account 2, then account 1 XRP balance should get reduced by 100 XRP, and account 2 should have extra 100 XRP added to it. And also in our get account info, we receive the previous transaction hash. So we are going to verify that the hash mentioned in the payment demo.js output is same as that of the previous transaction hash we see in the get account info. Okay, so let's get into the demo. So I'm connected to our virtual machine. I will create two new accounts. So for that, I am already having this testnet. Okay, one account we already have it created. I will copy the details over here. Let's go to the demo folder. So currently I am here. I will go to the third demo. Here you will see there are two folders. One is the presentation, other is the demo. Let's get into demo. I will open the Visual Code. So I'll say code dot. It will open the Visual Studio Code. And within this Visual Studio Code, you have our payment underscore demo.js. We'll go through the code, and then there is the API demo code snippet. Now in this file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste the account 1 and 2. I already have some account over here. These are the old accounts I used for my testing purpose. We are going to override this with our new accounts. So let me just copy the first account. We will paste it here. I will copy the secret over here secret 1. Okay, I also will have balances. Okay, account 1 balance 10,000, account 2 balance will also be 10,000. Account 2 we haven't created it yet. I will create the account again. By the way, this is the URL, okay, for the testnet, or you can just Google for Ripple testnet. It will take you over here in case you are wondering how we come here. This is my second account. Second account secret I don't need, but let's have it. Okay, good. So now, okay, so what next? Next, let's go through the payment demo.js file. So here you have, first we are going to include the Ripple lib. Okay, next is we are creating the API pointing to our testnet. Okay, third thing is we are creating a wallet. Okay, and this will become clear why we need this wallet. Now this wallet is a combination of key and the account. So what I'll do is I will copy the first account key. Okay, paste it here. I will copy the account number from here, the first account, okay, because that is the sender in our scenario. I will paste it here. Okay, then there are some some variable related to the close ledger number. What is the fee? What is the start ledger number? Okay, now the fee is important because when you are going to invoke any transaction, okay, be it payment or channel create or whatever, there is some fee associated with that call. Okay, so we need to have that fee. Another thing to remember is this fee is in Ripple drops, and if you remember, 1 Ripple is equal to 1 million Ripple drops. Okay, so here when we say fee limit is 100, we are not talking about 100 Ripple, we are talking about 100 drops, Ripple drops. Okay, ledger wait, how many ledger we are going to wait till we confirm the transaction is complete. Okay, so what happens is when we are going to invoke the payment transaction, it will get submitted to the Ripple ledger, but that submission doesn't confirm that the payment is executed. Okay, it will get submitted and then after a few seconds the transaction will complete. Okay, so here we put a wait limit that how long we want to wait to verify whether the transaction is complete or not. Okay, then the other thing is this payment demo.js will accept the sender account, the receiver account, the payment or the amount you want to transfer from sender to receiver, and there is something called as tag. You can add some tag to your transactions just to make it easy for you to remember that okay, I did this transaction for this purpose. Okay, so the format this program or this demo accept the input, the format of that input is like this. This is the format. So here what is happening is we are just processing the input arguments and we are trying to make sure that there are 4 arguments after we split the received input through the colon. So we want to make sure that there is the sender address, receiver address, amount and the tag. Okay, if it is not, then it will give you invalid argument exception. Okay, then we are assigning those argument passed argument to variables, and then there is that console.log. all right, now there is this method called process transaction underscore process transaction, and this is where the transaction will happen. Okay, so to perform the transaction we need to have the fee. Okay, so there is that fee limit, we put it as 100. and this is going to be the fee limit. So what we are going to do is we are going to do a get account info from account, okay, and then we are going to create the transaction payload, okay, and this is important. Let me go back to our presentation we had. So if you remember, we were going through this presentation. If you go to slide number 22, slide number 23 talks about the payment transaction. So the payment transaction, this is the payload for the payment transaction, okay. So the transaction type should be payment, there should be the account, the destination account, the amount is in again in Ripple drops, okay. Then flags, at this point, we are going to skip what the flags are about. The last ledger sequence, okay, the fee and the sequence of the transaction, okay. So for payment transaction, destination and amount are required, okay. And as I mentioned, there are other types of transactions. So for other transactions, there might be some extra field. So for payment transaction, destination and amount is the field specific to the payment transaction. Okay, so first we need to create the payload for the payment transaction, and then we need to submit that transaction using the submit operation or the submit method, okay. Before we submit the transaction, we need to sign the transaction, and this is where your master key or your regular key will come into picture. As you know, every account has a master key and multiple standard keys, and the transaction, any type of transaction you are going to submit, has to be signed by either your master key or your standard key. So the sign method will sign the transaction, okay, and it has to happen before you do the submit, otherwise your transaction will fail, okay. And once you submit the transaction, as I mentioned, submission of the transaction doesn't mean that the transaction is complete and successful. The submission is a provisional, okay. You will get a response, but the response is provisional response, okay. The final outcome of the transaction is not known until it appears in a valid ledger, okay. So after you submit the transaction, Ripple network will go through the consensus process, okay. So there is that concept of consensus process I briefed you about, and through that consensus process, in one of the consensus process, your transaction will get accepted, okay, if it is a valid transaction, and it will finalize, and after that only you can say that your transaction is complete, and that result is the final result. So the submission is a provisional result. After that, you need to continuously probe the subsequent ledgers to see that whether the submitted transaction is complete or not, okay. And then there is that tx command, okay, for the transaction, and get transaction command to get the details about the transaction, whether the transaction is completed and included in a valid ledger or not, okay. So so because of this nature of how the transactions are executed, wherein when you submit, it is a provisional response you will get, and subsequently you will get other responses, and finally when your transaction is included in a valid ledger, you will get the final response. So it may happen that a transaction which is provisionally written an error may eventually succeed, okay. It may happen that a transaction which you provisionally written success for may eventually fail, okay. So you submit a transaction, you in the return, like here, you receive test success, okay. So provisional result can be test success, meaning that transaction is submitted to the ledger, but subsequently it may fail, and the other way around as well. When you submit, for some reason it will fail, but subsequently it may accept that and process it successfully. Okay, so these are the possible scenarios, and this is very important to understand, because when you are going to develop application on top of it, you need to understand this concept. Otherwise, you will submit a transaction, you will receive success, and you will assume that the transaction is complete and the payment is sent from the sender, received at the receiver end. But in reality that might not be the case. So you need to submit the transaction, continuously probe the ledger, and unless you receive the till you receive the final result, you can't conclude whether the transaction is complete or not. Okay, so this is the payload you need to submit, and you will get the provisional response, and you will have the transaction hash with you, and you are going to use that transaction hash, and then you will look for the get transaction, and then there is this outcome result, and you need to see whether it is validated equal to true or not. So if it says validated equal to true, then only you can say that your transaction is completed successfully. Okay, so this is how we are going to do the transaction. Okay, so let's go back to our code. So in the code, so far we have received the input, and then we are creating the transaction payload. Okay, payment type, transaction type payment. We need to have the from account, the fees, and the destination account. Okay, we are also putting the tag, and we are putting the amount over here. The amount we give as input is in XRP, so we need to convert it into the XRP drops. Okay, and then last ledger sequence, we are getting it from the last close ledger and the ledger weight. Okay, how are we going to get the close ledger sequence? That will happen down the line when we invoke the get server info. Okay, so in the process transaction, we are building the payload for the transaction, and then we are going to convert it into a JSON format. Then we are going to get the secret key, and that's where the wallet will come into picture. As I mentioned, we had that wallet variable where we put the sender's wallet, sender's key, and then there was the sender account. So we have the wallet set. Let's go back. Okay, so we have the secret from the wallet, and then we are signing the transaction. Okay, so this is the API.sign method, which should precede the submit method. Okay, so you need to pass the JSON object with the transaction details, saying that okay, this is a payment transaction in our case. Pass on the secret, and then you will get a signed transaction. Okay, and then after we have the signed transaction, we are going to submit the signed transaction using API.submit. So this will submit the ledger, and again, as I mentioned, you will have a provisional response. Okay, so that provisional response, we will log it on the console. It will say that okay, tentative result is, the result code will be there in the tentative response, the provisional response, right? So again, this is a asynchronous call. You can see here sign transaction dot sign transaction, API.submit. In that we are submitting the signed transaction. Then the response from the signed transaction will be in the transaction data. We are going to log that transaction data, and we are going to check for the result code and result message. We are going to put it on the console log. Something happens during the submission, we'll get an exception. We are logging that exception and exiting the process. Okay, so after that, so this was the perform transaction method. Then there is the function. Okay, there is another function called last close ledger. All it does is it will go and it will get the server info. Okay, and from that it will get the last close ledger, and based on that it will update the last close ledger sequence. Okay, and why we need that? We need that because we are going to continuously probe the transaction after we submit it, and for that we need to know that, you know, from where we need to probe the transaction. For that we need the last close transaction. Then there is the where yeah, so that was the get close transaction method. Okay, then there is another function called bootstrap, and as the name suggests, this is the method which will kick off the whole transaction. Okay, so in this we are going to connect to the network. After connecting to the network, we are going to get the last close ledger. We are going to invoke that method, get the last close ledger, and assign it to the variable, and then we are going to subscribe to the account, okay, for the wallet, for the ledger stream. Okay, so here the subscribe method basically subscribe you to the ledger, and then you can receive the ledger stream continuously. Okay, and down the line what we are doing is we are connecting to the ledger. After we got connected, we are then getting the server info. From the server info we are getting the fee, okay, the acceptable fee, the base fee, and based on this value we are going to update our fee. All right, and then after we connect last close ledger, we are going to call get the last close ledger, then we are going to do the bootstrap, and then finally we are going to do the process transaction. Okay, so the flow of this program or this demo is like, initially it will set the wallet, set the parse the parameters, set the parameters to various variables, and after that it will then connect to the ledger, to the node. After connecting to the node, it will get the server info. From the server info it will get the last ledger, last close ledger, and it will set the last close ledger variable. Then it will bootstrap, and after the bootstrap it will call the process transaction. Okay, and also what we are doing is in the bootstrap we are basically subscribing to the ledger stream, so that way we will continuously receive the ledger updates, and in that ledger updates we are going to verify whether our transaction, whatever we executed in the process payment, for that transaction whether we receive the final response as complete or not. Okay, if it is complete, the program will exit. So let's run this program now. Ripple from account 1. So in our code snippet we have account 1. I will copy this one. So amount, then the sender account. Okay, by the way, here is the format at the beginning of the code: amount, from address, to address, and to tag. So to address is account 2, and tag I will just put payment demo. Okay, put it in quotes. Let's hit enter, and now here you see payment, pay 99 XRP from this address to this address. It is connected. Server base fee is 10 drop. Ledger closed is this one, 458. Then we are doing get account info for the sender, right? So this was the sender. New estimated fees is 12. This was our base fee. Estimated fee was 12, so we updated our fee to 12. Okay, then we created the transaction type, transaction payload, but I got an error saying that error retrieving secret. Why? Because there is something wrong in setting up the wallet. Okay, so let me verify again. This is our sender NLG. Okay, then DO2. This is the receiver. Okay, this is the secret key. Let me see if I updated it properly. Okay. Let me try it again. Okay, so this time it got executed. Maybe the secret key was not saved properly. Okay, so let's see what happened now. Okay, so we had our transaction created from account. So the transaction type is payment, account is this from account, fee is 10, destination tag. Okay, amount 99 I mentioned, it got converted into drops. This is the last ledger sequence, and then I got test success, test execution status TES as success. This is the provisional result. Okay, the transaction was applied, only final invalidate ledger. Okay, so we are waiting for the ledger. Next ledger is 496, it got closed. Then there was 497, this also got closed. Okay, and then we found our transaction based on our sender address, and here we had that result, the outcome as success. Okay, and it said delivered amount currency 99. Okay, and the other thing over here is the transaction hash. Okay, we also have the transaction hash. So now what we'll do is we'll go to the next command prompt. Here what we will do is we'll verify whether that 99 Ripple or XRP got transferred or not. So for that we'll go to the snippet, and here we are going to create and connect. Okay, so I will copy this, paste it here. Now API.connect, this will connect to the ledger. After connecting, I will create two variable. Okay, account 1, let's copy the first account. So here is the first account. Paste it here. Second account, paste it here. All right, now we are going to invoke, as you will guess, we are going to invoke what? API.get account info. Okay, what is the amount we have for the first one? I'll say ACC1. Okay, and let's say this is ACC1 info. Again, this is an asynchronous call. It will return us a promise, and if I type ACC1, and also at the same time I will say get me the account info for account 2, I will have it in ACC ACC2 info. Okay, now we'll check SEC1 info. And here now you will see the XRP balance is reduced. Okay, so previously it was 10,000 XRP, now you will see it is 9,900 point something. Okay, and here you will see that it should be 99,001, right, because we transferred 99 XRP, but it is less than that because if you remember there was the transaction fees of 10 drop. Okay, not 10 ripple but 10 drop, so that's why you see this .99999. Okay, another important thing to observe here is the previous transaction ID, okay, and previous ledger version. Okay, so this two things you remember. Account to info also we will check, and here you see the amount got increased by 99. Previously it was 10,000, now it is 10,099, and you see the transaction hash, it is the same for these two accounts because they were part of the same transaction. Okay, and also the transaction ledger version is same. And another important thing is, you remember this transaction hash 4505. We go to our previous window terminal and you will see the same transaction over here as well, because when we executed our demo, in our demo we were continuously looking for the ledger where our transaction is validated, and we are printing the ledger where we see that the transaction is closed, and that's why you see here the transaction ID, which transaction hash, which is same as in our get account, as in previous transaction ID of get account info for both the accounts. And the sequence also 497, if you see, you will see 497, and before 497 there was 496, but you know, nothing got printed in the ledger closed for 496 because our transaction was not completed in that ledger, and we had that transaction the ledger weight of 5 in our code, right? In our code we had that value of 5. That means it was waiting for next 5 ledger to verify that our transaction is completed or not. So in our case, in the second ledger itself we got the result. In 96 it was not processed, in 97 it got processed. Okay, so I hope this demo would have helped you understand a lot of concepts around the transaction. So to summarize, in this session we looked into the very important transaction called payment transaction. We did a demo. In that demo we started with creating 2 new accounts on the test network. Then we configured our wallet in the demo file with the sender secret key and the account ID. We went through the code, we analyzed the code, what the code is doing. Then we did the execution. In the execution we had 2 terminal windows open because in the first terminal we executed the demo. In the second terminal we went into the node console, and then we set some variable for our accounts, and then we connected to the same test network, received did the get account info for first and second account, and we saw that the 99 XRP got reduced from the first one, got added to the other one. But in addition to 99 XRP there was some more decrease in the balance, and that is associated to the transaction fees. And then we looked at the transaction ID. They match for both the both account info for the last transaction ID, and the same is matched with the the demo output where we looked at the transaction ID where we found the success. I hope this helped you understand the concept. Thanks a lot for watching.